This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Welcome back, everyone. It is time once again to do a little viewer mail. So these are the types of videos I do where I showcase works by viewers like you. These are people who sent zines, books, all kinds of wonderful things in. And in the spirit of creativity, I want to share some really exciting stuff with you today. So first up, we'll get right to it, is this book. This is called Fleeting Moments by Ed Justice Jr. So Ed sent this in because I bought it. Ed is a good friend of mine, and I wanted to showcase this. This is actually a book that he's produced with Leica Gallery in Los Angeles. Leica Gallery Los Angeles did a show of his work. They produced this wonderful book. I met Ed a couple of years ago when we both took a bookmaking workshop with Ralph Gibson. I really liked his work then, and it's really interesting to see where it's evolved. Obviously, Fleeting Moments deals a lot with automotive design, a lot of cars. And a thing you should know about Ed Justice is that if you've ever been around the automotive industry, you probably know the name Justice Brothers. So Justice Brothers was a couple guys that were big in the racing circuit and also started this company for oil supplements called Justice Brothers. Anyway, Ed is a descendant of this family. And as a kid growing up, he was really into photography and he was around a lot of automotive racing and has an enormous, not just knowledge, but experience in that world. And I think this book came out absolutely beautiful. Ed, you did a fantastic job on this. One of the things that I really love about this collection of work is obviously we have the automotive theme, which was expected, but Ed breaks out into somewhat of a transportation type theme. So there's a lot of other work in here. I mean, come on, what is cooler than a spread of Evel Knievel? The only other book that I knew that Ed had done was this one, which he sent me a couple of years ago. And this was actually on the legacy of Justice Brothers. And this book, Fleeting Moments, is actually Ed's photography. So I'm really proud of Ed for putting this together, getting this done. And the other thing that I want to say about this is I want to give a shout out to Paris Chong and Leica Gallery Los Angeles for doing a show with Ed. I think it's something that's very different. It shows a lot of support. I've seen Ed at a lot of Leica events out there, and it's really cool that they decided to showcase somebody like Ed, who's such a champion of their product and also a very decent photographer in his own right. So Ed, you should be very proud of this. All right, so next up is this wonderful little book that comes to us from Belanne Pibal. I think I'm saying your name right. This is called Frozen Bubble Photography. Bear with me, this is really awesome. She also encloses the obligatory note, which reads, "Hello, Mr. Forbes. This book came about because I am entranced by frozen bubbles. I think it speaks both to your point of using the camera you have and shooting what makes you want to commit to photography and printing it to share with others. I learned a lot in the process of making this book, and I recommend it as an exercise in itself. Anyway, even though it is not a profound work of art, although the bubbles are, whether I have captured them well enough to show that or not, people need how-to books. I've gone back and forth about sending this to you, but then I thought, why not? So here you go, burdened with another book. Although you don't want to use it or keep it, feel free to pass it along, maybe to your local library. I enjoy the videos. Thank you, Belanne." Okay, Belanne, rule number one here at The Art of Photography, we do not apologize for our work. I think this is outstanding. It is very unusual, very quirky. It's a very different subject, but you've got something really unique. And so a couple things that I want to say about this. First of all, the photography is outstanding. It's trippy in the most beautiful way. I think you have something that's very unique. I love the bubble photography, the frozen bubbles. I love the fact that not only did you take these images, but you decided to put it into a book and to make it a how-to book. She's got tutorials in here on not only how to get these macro images, but actually how to light them and some cool ideas for it too. I think this is really cool. And the one thing I want to encourage you to do, and I think this is really important actually, is it would be really neat for you to do a fine art book of the bubble photography to release alongside this. I think that would be something that's really cool. It's not too late to do. I know this is a couple of years old and I apologize, it took me a while to get to, but I think it's so unusual and I think it's so unique that I want to see more of it. And I think you have something really cool and I love the way that you've explained it to everybody. I absolutely love this and I can't believe you didn't know whether you want to send this to me or not. I feel like I'd be burdened by it. I think it is very cool. I will put a link to Belanne's work below. She's awesome, and as well as everybody else that I'm featuring here. So support your local, your fellow photographers and your colleagues. I don't think anybody's local on here, and check them out. But Belanne, thank you for sending. All right, so next up, I've got this really interesting zine that's very well printed, as well as this awesome book, which is kind of a journalistic style called Getting to Know You. But real quick, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor this week, who are the always awesome folks over at Squarespace. How easy is it to build an amazing website in a matter of minutes? Squarespace has you covered. It's dead simple. Head over to Squarespace, hit Get Started. You can start by using Squarespace Blueprint AI and SEO tools, which will give you an impressive website in no time. Something unique because, you're not like other websites. Give your site a name. Next, you can build your homepage. We'll start with a few preset layouts just to get us going. Want to sell products like prints, books, maybe you make a zine? Well, you can feature those on your homepage. Create a few more sections if you want. Let's also give it a color palette. There's a whole bunch to choose from, and just get us started. We can change this all later. Next, let's select the typography choices. Welcome to your website. Everything is set up and it's all ready for you to customize. Squarespace is built on Fluid Engine, the next generation of website design. Select Edit, and Fluid Engine allows you to drag, place, and resize any element on the page. You can snap these to a grid, you can make them float on top of one another, you can freeform however you like. You can even preview and adjust how the site looks on either desktop or mobile. The layouts are independent. Of course, you'll want a portfolio for your work. Creating an image gallery is as easy as dropping a folder of images on your web browser. Once uploaded, you can drag to resort, customize the look, and Squarespace writes all of the code for you. Everything just works and it looks fabulous. Want to sell your own prints, books, or zines? Flexible payments allow you to make the checkout process absolutely seamless when you sell products or services. You can accept credit cards, PayPal, Apple Pay, and in eligible countries, you can offer customers the option to buy now and pay later with Afterpay and ClearPay. You should try Squarespace for yourself. It's absolutely free, no credit card required. Just go to squarespace.com/AOP, sign up for that free trial. If you decide Squarespace is right for you, I can save you an additional 10% on your order by using offer code AOP on checkout. That's right, the code is AOP. So stop procrastinating, go build your website today. And I want to give a special shout out and thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. All right, so next up is this little zine called Split Seconds. This comes to us from Michael Jarecki, and it's called Issue 1, Genoa, Italy. And he includes a brief note which reads, "Hello, Ted. I wanted to share with you my zine, Split Seconds. I made these photographs in Genoa, Italy while traveling. Thank you for all that you do for photography community with your channel. Cheers, Michael." So Michael, this is a great little zine, and what I love about it is that even though it's brief, it makes a very bold statement photographically, and I think it's really well done. I think it's really well printed. For those of you who can't tell, I know you're watching this on a video, this is done on newsprint, and the printing is exceptional on this. I love the full bleeds on the front and back. The images are wonderful in here, and even when you get into doing things like 4 images on a spread, which is actually very difficult to do, it's a cohesive visual statement, and this is very well done. I really, really like this. I would say my only comment that I would make on this is I just want to see more. I want to see more pages. I want to see the second zine of this, number 2 in the series. So man, keep it up. This is really awesome. Here's the QR code. All right, next up is this wonderful book, which comes to us from Andrew McLearn Robertson. This is called Getting to Know You. Andrew also enclosed a note. I'll read a little bit. He says, "Dear Ted, please find enclosed my first ever photo book, Getting to Know You. Self-published back in September 2023 after a friend encouraged me to create a book as I had thousands of images, which I had no idea what to do with. I also wanted to do something to mark a milestone in my life turning 40, and this book was one of those goals. It's a collection of images taken between 2019 and 2023, during which I had started taking photography more seriously. They are also at a time and space when I began living in a new country, United Kingdom, many thousands of miles away from where I grew up in South Africa, away from family and friends, getting to know new places, forging new friendships, starting a new career, also, more importantly, getting to know myself in a new way. Being a graphic designer and brand manager, creating a book was fairly simple. However, as curating the images and condensing images from around 40,000 to around 200-ish was no simple feat. This took 9 months, working weekends and evenings, laying out hundreds of small prints on my floor in my apartment. This was a task that was long and hard, but I learned a lot, not just from taking photography more seriously, but figuring out how to sequence and how the feel of the book should start and end. I hope you enjoy looking through these images, and I hope this will add to your amazing collection of viewers' photo books. Thank you for your time. Kindest regards, Andrew." Andrew, no small feat indeed, my friend. This is really outstanding. You have picked something that is very hard to do, which is take something that is really more of a personal journal and display that in a photo book. And coming from a huge catalog of images and getting that into something that is digestible in a volume like this, I understand, is not easy. But you have done something that is really cool that a lot of photographers don't. I think most photographers, I have a lot of students that are like this, before they come to me, they've really not thought of their work in a larger volume. volume or in a larger context. It's kind of image to image, and everybody does this. I did when I started out too, where you're just making images and you put them on the computer or store them away, and then you go on to make the next. And how do those relate to each other? How do they sequence? How do they look on facing pages? You've done an outstanding job with this. And I say that because in these journal type contexts, which I actually really like, it's not easy to do because you've got a wide range of subject matter and a lot of it is going to be very personal to you. It's not a bad thing at all, but the challenge is how do you make that relate to somebody who's looking at your book? And I think you've done a very good job with this. This is not easy. I think coming from a background of graphic design and brand management, so to speak, you obviously have a keen eye for layout, and that doesn't look like that was a problem for you. But I want to mention a couple things that I really like about this. First of all, the color in here is outstanding. I really like how you've treated everything. I'm assuming you shoot a lot on film because it has that feel to it. But I also like how you're sequencing colors in spots like this spread. This is something that a lot of people don't put a lot of thought into. They're just going to dump stuff into a book and go for it. And as you've learned in doing this, you have to lay things out on the floor and see how it reads and see how it feels as you progress through it from beginning to end. And you've done an excellent job on this. And like I said, this is not an easy thing to do. I think a much easier thing is when you have a photograph book that's on a very condensed subject and you can kind of stick to that throughout. You have something that's very broad, but you've done an exceptional job on this, and you guys should all check this out. I will link up to Andrew's book as well as everybody else in the show description below this video, so make sure you check out and support your fellow photographers. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, later.